Man, we're live. Yolanda Smith, my co-host.
Hey.
We're live. The first live of 2021. What a way to kick it off.
I am so excited. You know what? We're going to have a year that will be memorable.
She left me speechless.
That's never happened.
That's never happened.
I have that effect from time to time, you know.
You know, 2021, Yolanda, let me start all over again because this is live.
You don't get to start all over again because
it's
live.
I know, it's
so
live.
Just keep going. Just bulldoze through it, brother.
2021 is more this time about a whole new look, a whole new identification, a whole new brand. And Yolanda's here because when I decided to do season 2, I took down some notes. And the first note that came to my mind was from the first time you was on the show. And you said, hey, we have to rebrand ourselves. And I said, what better way to do it than to have you on the show as a regular, as my sidekick, because people need to also know every day how to brand themselves all over again. Because now we have to reinvent ourselves in 2021. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, at this point, we are looking for ways to be able to refresh and reignite our brand, particularly in an environment where we've been feeling isolated and there's just been so much going on. And we don't want to get into all that. I think if you lived, you know what we're talking about. It's just been many things, but it's all about how you show up today. And what are you going to do today that's going to get that level 10 life you choose to live?
That's why she's here. She's once again leaving me speechless. 2021 is different for us all. In 2021, on the Andre The Beast Show, we're gonna address some serious issues. We're gonna address the why. We know why we were born, but we need to know there's a deeper message into the why. We need to also know from the late Sam Cooke, a change is gonna come. And the change is gonna start not here. This is part of the change because I'm bringing new innovations, new people,
That's right.
New topics, new everything. That's the change here. But the change, what we're trying to do is change you and your way of thinking to keep you in that beast state of mind.
That's right. It comes from within. This is the change from within. This is not you going to get a change of clothes or you changing where you live. It's about changing your mindset and how you operating. And if you don't know, now you do, because 95% of the people in our country are classified as mediocre. 95%.
Mediocre.
If you take any 100 people in the country, this is according to the Social Security Administration, and you classify them. 1 will be wealthy, 5 will be financially well-to-do, 36 will be dead, and the other 50-something% literally will be broke, living off of their family members or the government.
That's sad.
It is very sad. So we have an obligation to get ourselves together, get our brand together, so that we can live the lives we choose to live and not just accept status quo, mediocrity.
I refuse to accept that mediocrity.
It's not happening here.
It ain't happening. It ain't gonna happen. This is beast. It's beast state of mind. It's beast moving forward. And we got the best person in the world to help do that alongside me once again, Yolanda Smith.
Hey, I'm glad to be here with you.
But more importantly, you said something about
mediocrity.
You know, let's talk about. Let me address that real quick before we bring our guest on. nobody likes to be put in that category.
No.
But when you get into that category, how do you get out of it?
Well, it's this way. None of us probably have a mediocre mindset. You couldn't tell us we don't want to strive for the best, but we got mediocre behaviors. It's what you do or you don't do that puts you in that category. So how do you get out of it? You change your behaviors.
You change your behavior.
You get into action.
You get into action.
You make things happen.
You make things happen.
Versus waiting for them to happen.
Versus waiting.
Yes, and you level up that brand.
Here is a person on my show, and let me explain to you. I sought after this guy with relentless
pursuit.
Seriously, I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
you know, when I started to do this, you know how I roll. Don't tell me I can't do nothing. I'm going to get it done. You don't even know how I did it, but I'm going to get it done. So I went after this guy like, boom. And the thing about life is so funny, Yolanda. We have heroes and people that you saw and you go, wow, you know, such an impactful person. This gentleman on the show, and I'm going to try not to get emotional because it takes me down that emotional roller coaster. Yeah. When I see a man, let me rephrase it, boys to men.
Yes.
A boy to a man.
Remarkable human being.
I saw the 30 for 30.
Mm-hmm.
The what if almost bull crap. And I'm thinking the what if is not, no, what could have been. I don't like that title. Let me just be blunt. Not what could have been, what should have been, what is, who still is.
That's right. And the story's not over. So
and the story's not over.
There's no ending right now.
I reached out to this young man, this man, because he has impacted me growing up.
Yes.
I saw him run a football like a god. I saw people look at him like a god. I saw the impact that he put into college football. I seen the impact that he went into the NFL. I saw the impact that he did in the USFL. I seen the impact that he did on his family, the impact that he made on the community.
Yep.
And I seen a lot of people not acknowledge him for who he is. Without further ado, the greatest running back that I know, Oklahoma's own Marcus Dupree. Marcus, welcome to the show, dog.
Thank you, God. I'm glad to be on the show. Hey, your check is in the mail, too.
I tell you, he's a good endorser.
You know, Marcus, it's great to have you on the show. You're looking healthy. You're looking fit. I love that. Show me that Victor watch. We both collect them Victor watches.
Oh, we collect them. Hey, Mike Rozier does the same thing, too.
Great minds think alike and great minds collect great things.
There you go.
So, Marcus, tell us a little bit about your journey. Let's start from Marcus Dupree, the young lad growing up.
Well, you know, in the Bible, they talk about, you know, in a community, it has to be a village. And, you know, I think back in my younger days, 4th, 5th, 6th grade or whatever, we had people in my community that was involved in our lives. I talk about my friends, Charles McAfee, God rest his soul, Michael Smith, Alvin Kidd, Scotty Wilson. I mean, we just had people in our neighborhood who cared about us. My mom was a Cub Scout leader. I had another lady, friend of mine she was part of the Cub Scout, the Boy Scout. You know, they look at me and they're like, "You were in the Cub Scout?" No, I mean, that's the type of people we had around. When we played a Little League baseball game, the place would be sold out because we had so many talented kids with the same mindset, and people loved to come watch us play. So it was a village that raised me.
Absolutely.
Not just my mom, my grandma, but it was a village that raised me. And I'm proud to be from Philadelphia, Mississippi.
What are you going to say?
I was just saying, man, if we just had that today, can you imagine?
Yeah, that's what's wrong right now. We don't have that ability anymore. People doing their own thing. You got people out there want to have the microwave life where they want it right now. You got so many young kids. You got, I think about, at times when I just come in from practice or whatever, my mom, my grandma, my grandfather was a minister. We all be sitting at the table talking about our day. We don't do that no more. We got so many parents out there ripping and running. They don't have time to spend time with their kids. They don't sit down and eat dinner with the kids, eat lunch or whatever. It's just all about fast pace. And so I think we need to get back to that.
What was your family like? You definitely had a tight knit family from the South.
Yeah,
We're almost pretty much neighbors. I'm from the deep South, deep Georgia, Albany, Georgia.
The dirty.
The dirty. Tell me what it was like with your family. You guys were very close knit. Your mom, your dad, hard working. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my grandfather was a minister, first of all. And then my grandma, she grew up on a farm. She was hardcore. She was loving, but she was hardcore. My mom was a school teacher before she passed in 2004. She taught school for 37 years. Then my aunt, she was a school teacher also, and then she was in administration. Their brother died early, but he was always part of something going on in the community. He was a deacon of the church. So it was just love and about positivity. And my grandmother used to say, Marcus, if something gets in your way, it hurts you. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And you just try to move on from that. And I always think about those days, my grandma and grandfather, my aunts and my uncles, they all, talking. It was this close knit, and that's the way my community was on the west side of town, across the tracks. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it was. Black people had businesses. It was just, I wouldn't give nothing for it to go back to those times.
You said across the tracks. What was different? Was the tracks the dividing line between the have and the have-nots? Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Hey, before you answer that, let me tell you, we got the great Marcus Dupree. If you are watching this, please like, share, because he's got a word for us today.
So, across the tracks, you got white part of town, but there's still some black people staying on the other side of town. But as a kid growing up, we had a black school over there too. Mm-hmm. So before I was the first in Mississippi or Philadelphia, whatever, to go through the first 12 years of integration. My first grade went through the whole first 12 years of integration. But you had the black side of town, then you had Booker T. Washington on that side of town, then you had the Philadelphia High School and the Show Central on that other side of town. But it was more black people standing on the cross the tracks, which was the city limits. Right. And that's where I grew up. And I loved it. That's all I talk about now amongst my friends. We talk about those days.
How often do you actually go back to your hometown?
Actually, I go back at least 2 or 3 times a month, sometimes more, because I got grandkids playing ball. I got one grandson that's being recruited. And so I'm just trying to teach him the ropes and try to help him understand about life and people in general. You got to watch who you surround. You got to keep like-minded people around you. And both of you, the friends you got to be on the same page. Right. If you ain't on the same page with your friends, then you need to find you another group of friends. If you pulling the wagon, I heard Steve Harvey say this. But if you pulling the wagon up the hill and you look back and everybody on the wagon partying, and they ain't helping you push that wagon up the hill, then you need to get their ass off the doggone wagon and go by yourself.
I just say, yep, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you pouring into everybody else who is pouring into you.
Exactly. I was at one of my grandsons 2 years ago. He's been playing baseball since he was 4 and 5 years old. He and his cousin. So I go to the state championship and I'm watching them walk off the field like everybody else. I said, no. I pull them out of the game. I'm like, no. You guys done been in World Series. Y'all don't travel all over the state. You know, traveling 2 or 3 states. You guys got to set a standard because you know better. So next time you go on the field, you sprint to the doggone dugout. Not walking lollygag like everybody else, because you're not the same. You can't be average. You got to be above average. You got to step above everybody else. You can't have they same mindset. You got to change. You got to change their mindset. So you got to step up and be a leader, because you don't see it a lot more than that.
What have you seen lately since, like you said, the mindset, and I talked about this with people, the mindset just isn't the same like when we grew up. Is it because maybe the family was more close-knit? Is there really that much of a cultural difference that we don't see that anymore? It's almost like the work ethic.
They say, some people don't have dads in their life. They say babies having babies. I mean, my mom had me. I was in she was a junior in high school.
Right.
So that still didn't change it. It's about the setting, the same people around.
Yeah.
It's your family. If your family gonna do something negative, then you gonna do something negative. They don't teach you positive, then you ain't gonna be. You're not gonna be positive. So it starts at the home. And I tell anybody that, I tell parents that I go speak to them. It's got to start at home. You can't get mad if the teacher whoop his butt. Because I remember a time I wasn't in trouble. I was quiet as a house.
It wasn't me.
So the principal calls my grandma because she's at home. My mom, she taught in a whole nother county. So he calls my grandma. My grandma said, "Why are you calling me? Whoop his butt." So people don't do that nowadays.
No.
In your household. Because you're right. It starts in the home. Everything starts in the home. But you just mentioned that, Yolanda, earlier, that mimicking what you see in the home and transitioning to the out thing. So in your home, tell me a little bit about who was the inspirational role models of the family for you.
Well, I had, like I said, I didn't want to get my butt whooped because I had to come home. If I got in trouble, I had to see my uncle, I had to see my mom, I had to see my grandma, I had to see my granddaddy, and my auntie.
That's a lot of belts.
Yeah, that's.
Who's trying to take that much butt whooping?
And then you gotta go get your own switch.
Yeah.
So then again, go back and look. If you was in your neighbor's yard and you did something, the neighbor had the authority to whoop your butt too.
That's
true.
So
anybody around in that neighborhood where I live, if we got in trouble, we gonna get a whooping there, and then we're gonna get a whooping when she pick up the phone and call or holler across the way and say, "Marcus over here showing out." It's coming. You automatically know it's coming. My grandma said that's how I got so fast running from them buttons.
I think Yolanda said it too, and I forgot about this. They make you go get the switch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They tell you to go get your own switch.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a story right quick. So my granddaughters was staying with me when I was in Louisiana. So they was in there messing with something in the office, and they broke it. So I brought them all out, sit them on the couch like 4. So they wouldn't tell on nobody. I said, okay, we're going to fix that. Go outside and bring me a switch. Each one of you get your own switch because I'm going to turn y'all till somebody tell me who did what.
Right.
So they come in with a little bit of switch right there. I said, okay. So mind you, where my couch was, you could see, I had a big bay window so you could see out to where the trees and all that was. So I said, just sit here, and you watch me. So I go to the garage, I crank up the chainsaw. Yeah! I started cutting the tree down about like that right there. And you should have saw them jokers hollering and screaming, "Papa gonna kill us! He's about to kill us!"
I bet they start snitching then.
Oh, they start talking big time.
When you said you started, you said that was one of the reasons why you probably became so fast. When did you start to fall in love with football? When was that introduced to you?
Well, it wasn't really introduced to me. That nobody taught my crew how to play ball. Mm-hmm. We just watched TV and emulated everything we saw on TV in our backyard. I mean, we went through every season. It was a basketball season where I had everything. Basketball goal. We played football in my yard. We went to the black high school field and we played out there. We had our own little league. I mean, as kids, we had our own little league. We were called the Booker T Bums. The street, couple streets down the street, they were called the Bennett Street Bears. We had the project, whatever, and other in the project. So we had as kids, we developed our own little group.
Right.
And so nobody really taught us to play. Then we had a few people like Abel Henson, St. Shannon, people like that who came in the evening time, just spent time with us. We didn't have a league. So we just played, and they were some, role models that we followed. So they also played with my dad in high school. So it was just like that. We just wanted to be better at everything. Like the little drills they doing now,
Right.
We didn't know nothing about that. I'm out there running through my grandmother's hedge bushes, working on my utility field. I ain't know nothing about, I'm acting like that defender. So, we didn't have nobody to teach us.
What you say? Hey, Grandma, I cut the hedges down. Hold on a minute.
But there's a lesson in that, and I'm gonna just tell you, if you just think about what you said, you had used your imagination and solved for problems, for gaps, for things that were there. Today, our youth don't do that. They don't have the problem-solving skills. They don't have because they stay in front of a TV. They stay on the phone and playing games, these sort of things. This is amazing, though.
Yeah.
And look where it got you. I mean, just being out there, having the imagination to create your own. Again, we're talking about you have to create your own, right? Creating your own space to be able to do, even without the means to do it formally, what you see others do. There
you saw my 30 for 30 where I talk about, we didn't have weights. We saw people, bodybuilding, like, man, we got to figure out how to, build ourselves. So we go get some bricks, little brick, big,
milk jugs.
Milk jugs, great, those great bricks that you build, foundations with. We out there trying to, do it. And my neighbor's son, dad finally said, y'all gonna kill y'all. Some weights from Sears Roebuck or something. So that's how we got started lifting weight.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Quite a journey, definitely. So did you then start, as you did that in the neighborhood, how did that then transcend to really becoming something serious for you?
Well, I didn't know how good I was because we all figured we all push each other. We all pushed each other. That's another thing I tell my grandson. Y'all don't push each other. Y'all don't try to y'all also buddy, but y'all ain't pushing each other. So my friends, we all would push each other to the fullest. So one's down, get up, let's go. We gotta go. And if we're going against each other, we go hard. I mean, it was just everybody had the same mindset. And by the time we moved from 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, they already saw dynasty coming because all of us was on the same page. Mm-hmm. So we played football when I started in the 10th grade. I started in the 9th, but actually when everybody came together as a high school team, we were a 2A school now. We had 80-some people on the team. When we pull up to a 2A high school, we looked like we were 6A. And we were whooping 6A schools because everybody had the same mindset. Mm-hmm. And what we want to win for one. I remember a story. My mom was as I told you, my mom was a Cub Scout leader and a den mother, where you want to call it. And so we were sitting around, and so she walked in and say, "You guys want to play in the basketball tournament?" And so we like, I said, let me call my friends. So I call them up. They all come over. We all in the Cub Scout, rather. And my mom says, we want to play in the tournament. Do we want to play in the tournament? They go, yeah, but what are we going to win? Are we going to win a trophy? And so she goes, yes, you're going to probably win several trophies. That's all it took. We wanted to go win a trophy. That's all she had to put on it. And we won. I see guys now, they said, man, when your troop or Pat come in, we already know the game was over. Are we going to try to win? No, right. we wasn't all about second place. We're all about winning. So
that's a mindset for real. That's a mindset.
Marcus, you talked about the camaraderie. Help me pronounce that word.
Camaraderie.
Yeah. I'm from the South, so those words get kind of twisted.
Yolanda's our translator.
Camaraderie.
You speak with such energy when you talk about your friends. I'm pretty sure you guys are still friends to this day. Was there one friend that really stood out to you that right to this day you go, wow, that is, because I have friends, but then I have, this is what my grandmother told me. She probably told you this too. Your grandfather probably told you this too. When you're in high school and junior high, and you're popular, everybody wants to be your friend.
Yeah.
And
right.
you do like this. Oh, that's my friend.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
Oh.
So my senior year, when I signed the letter of intent to go to college, now it's big when you sign those letters, y'all on TV. My grandmother said, let me sit down and talk to you for a minute. She said, everybody that you calling your friend ain't your friend. She said, let me tell you something. By the time you get older, that friend, those 20, 30, they're going to go like this.
Yeah.
And you're going to have one. You might be able to have five. So I tell people, I say, I can count right to this day.
One hand.
Yep. Out of your one hand, was there one or two that you remember that you go, wow, that was more than just a friend. He was a brother. He was a sister.
I don't have to remember, bruh. the same friends I had in freaking kindergarten, we talk every freaking week to this day.
That's crazy.
The same guys I was friends with when I went pro, I still got them same guys. They're gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna be real with you. And them the friends I got. We lost one back in April, which I was just talking about him yesterday. I can't go a day without Charles Tree McAfee. His little brother named Fred McAfee, who played for the Saints for 15 years.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother story. But that guy was like, you know, we moved to New Orleans. I said, y'all got to come to New Orleans. He ended up staying up until the day he died. But we talk every freaking day or every freaking week. We don't miss a week without talking. And when I think about those guys, I mean, I cheer up. I think about it. And, dang.
Yeah.
Like I said, I go back to those days. And no problem.
It's funny that you say that, because now with the social media, when it first started to surf the Facebooks and all that, you know.
Speaking of Facebook, Tracy Lynn from Facebook Live, she's watching. She says the best running back in Oklahoma, number 22.
All right. If you're watching, like and share, because this is a good one. This is an episode.
You know, it's funny because I don't know if there's a difference between North and South. I'm gonna just call it like it is. In the South, we all went to elementary school, to middle school, to high school, and some might have went, you know, when we went to college, we definitely went our own ways. But it's so funny, the people that are on my social media that I know and I have a better relationship with is those kids I went to school with. Oh. And they're so supportive. And they, you know, they buy my shirts, they follow me on social media. And I go, wow, what happened to that generation? Because now I look at my daughter, my grandkids.
My daughter.
It's like, where your friends?
Exactly.
You know, where's your crew? Where's your crew?
We had a crew. I still have the same crew. Yes, I have my crew. And I'm just like him from kindergarten. I can name them off like this. I still have my crew. They don't have a crew.
And it's sad because they don't have that social.
I'll say like this. Most of, well, I can say, I can speak for my grandson now. When he comes to visit, he brings a crew. And he's that same crew. They just left for Thanksgiving. And I told every one of their moms, the next time they come, y'all need to send either some food stamps or
because they can eat.
Send your EBT card. Y'all do EBT card. Them guys, it was for them. They ate $1,000 worth of food between Thanksgiving and Monday when they went back to school.
They better bring their EBT card.
So when they left, I sent their mom. I saw their mom at a basketball game, and I go, look, if they come this weekend,
don't bring them back here without a goodie bag.
I can't feed y'all anymore when they come here. So I can say my grandson, he does run. He has a crew. Yeah. And they all trying to be on the same mindset. They work hard. They go to D1. They train. And so I see him kind of doing the same thing. But it's me from preaching to him and him seeing my friends around, how we feel about each other. So that's been a big help.
What do you see like with your own family? You're definitely a legend. Does your family approach you differently because you are an icon? Let's be real, you're an icon.
No. Well, I can say this: my youngest grandson, I have 13 grandkids. So
wow.
The youngest grandson, he went with me to the Texas OU game, and the alumni always have a big party, and I sign autographs. And so that was his first time coming. I think he's like 6 years old. And so he's seeing everything and he's having a great time. So we go up to the room and to eat and chill out and watch TV. And so he jumps on the bed, lays and put his hand up, and he looked at me and said, "Papa, are you a rock star?"
Because you just pawpaw to him.
Yeah. I said, no, Braden, I just played a little football. Well, I want you to play football or baseball or something. Be good. And he said, "Papa, but why all them people want your autograph?" No. I tried to play a little football, Braden, but I was all right. You know, he go, "Well, they treating you like a rock star, Papa, or something." So it felt like I was in a movie or something.
Right.
He's sitting laid across the bed and he, "Papa, are you a rock star?" It's like that. So I thought that was pretty neat.
You know, what's exciting is that there's a lot of facets to you. You know, a lot of people will see you just for the football that you played, but you do so much more. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the community, because you've done some pretty remarkable things within your community. And I don't know if it's spotlighted, and it doesn't have to be, because the Bible tells you to give, you know, without needing to shout it to the mountaintop. So forgive me, Lord, because I'm getting ready to shout it a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little bit. But I'm just interested to talk a little bit about the things that you've done in the community. You know, I think a church is in there somewhere. You can share.
And before you answer that,
because my grandfather didn't preach at the same church where we went, because I went to church around the corner. My grandfather had like 4 churches in a county over, so he's always gone on Sunday or whatever to those churches. But we went to a church called Mount Nebo Baptist Church right around the corner from my mom's house. And I always saw them struggling to pay, you know, where they always was talking, you know, growing up, always wanted a new church, blah, blah, blah. So I just made up my mind, and I told my mom, I said, if I make it to pro, I'm going to buy a new church for the, you know, for Mount Nebo. And she said, really? I said, yeah. I said, y'all go ahead and start raising money, because I'm going to buy a church just, you know, to help out. And so when I signed pro, you know, in the USFL, came back and gave the money to my mom and said, y'all go build a church. And that's how we do. That's how we did. Jesse Jackson came down and visited, and when they burnt the whatever, the deed or whatever they do.
Yeah.
And it was a good feeling, because I know that was something that'll be there for eternity, and something to help God's people. And I'm, you know, I call myself a Christian. My mom was church secretary at that church, and she was the church choir director. So it's just something to just help the community in the best way I knew how, and that's all I grew up knowing that. I mean, being in the pastor's house, so I thought that would be a good deal to do.
Marcus, I think Jason said somebody's asking the question.
Oh yeah, well we got some more comments coming in from people watching on Facebook. Janet Moreland says Marcus Dupree has more friends than you can count. He's like a brother to me and my family. Love you. He is unstoppable. Kathy Gubbiner says looking amazing, and Daniel Kappel says looking dapper. So we got some fans.
Yeah, if you're watching, please like and share, because this is good. We don't go live often, but when we do,
we go.
And Kimberly Libert says, great man with a big heart.
Yes.
You know, Marcus, the 30 for 30, it was very moving to me. It was actually my first 30 for 30, and I watched it. And it's kind of like what Yolanda said. You know, I like when you tell a person's story, but I don't like it when they don't tell the whole story. Like, I never knew about the church, you know what I mean? And do you find it kind of like odd that when you hear your story, and I think I talked about this last time, we were talking about Brandon when you was on. I like when people tell my story, because it's almost like a fiction. You're going to tell it your way. Jason's going to say it his way, blah, 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 blah. And I just go, really? Do you find that happening to you quite often? And you go, wow. And if so, what's some of the craziest things that somebody had said about something they heard about you, and you know it wasn't true, but you just sit there and go, wow, really?
Okay, we can even go straight to the University of Oklahoma.
Go there.
So, because Richard said he never practiced in freaking high school. I'm like, where did he get that from? I missed one practice in 4 years of high school because I missed that because the coach didn't want me to practice because I had a hip corner.
Right.
And that's the only reason I didn't practice. He said I didn't work out in high school. How can you freaking come in Oklahoma as a freshman and bench 450 without working out?
Right.
I squatted 500 10 times, not one time, 10 times. We had a weight room. That's the main thing that Joe Woods, the head coach, said, we're going to put a weight room. Y'all going to work out. Matter of fact, my mom was over the job. Remember the summer job program?
Yeah.
So all my friends had jobs at the high school, so we could work out in the middle of the day or evening when we got our work, or whenever Coach Wood said we could take a break. So half the football team was working at the high school, so we could work out.
That's how they do it down in the South too.
So maybe we're gonna get the benefit of the doubt. He wanted you to be portrayed as the bionic man. Maybe that was
I
it.
Guess. I don't know, but that pissed my head coach off. It pissed all my friends. I was like, how can he say that? He said, Look at you. You came as a freshman, 17 years old, and you bench pressing 450. How can you think ain't no person in the world can do that without working out?
No.
You're 17 years old. You're setting phenomenal records in high school. When you was in high school and you was doing what you're doing, a phenomenal individual. You're a man amongst boys. Was there a rival that they was comparing you to during that time that you was in high school? Because there's always going to be several good high school football players. Who was in your class at your high school that you had to really had a rival with?
In high school?
Yeah.
Or against other high schools?
Against other high schools. Against other high schools.
I really didn't.
You was the one and only.
I mean, you know what? I didn't even know how good I was, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I just wanted to, like I say, it was me, Michael Smith, Charles McAfee, a couple other guys. We just wanted to win. We would do at all costs to win. It don't matter who we got to play. Anybody I remember our sophomore year, Candid. We had beat Candid in 20 years. So the first year we played them, we beat them up so bad, they lost they was always winning the conference or winning the state or whatever. We beat them up so bad my sophomore year that they ended up losing the next 2 or 3 games. Then the next year we beat them like a stepchild. So it was it was just about winning. It was about the mind. Once again, it was about the mindset.
Mm-hmm. But you said something that's interesting. See, I pick up on these little signals, right? He said, I didn't even know how good I was.
I was getting ready to say that too.
If you didn't know how good you were, that means you focused on you. You wasn't trying to, your ego wasn't in the way.
Right.
The ego's not in the way. And so what are you doing? Then you're just out there doing your best. But
more importantly, if you don't know, like you said, what was the driving force that somebody recognized and said, you can be even better?
Well, bring up that story. There's a guy named Richard Pickens who went to Alcorn. His mom lived across the street from my mom. And so I just remember he lived in Chicago at the time. He always come up, back in the day, old school, got the brim hat with the feather on it. He had the Cadillac, but he played at Alcorn. So he would and my mom graduated from Alcorn. So they went to school together. Every time he come visit his mom from Chicago, he'd come across the street. Tell him, where that baby at? And so I come running down. He'd start throwing the football to me. Boom, boom, run a route. He'd throw it to me. I go out and catch it. He'd come back, tell him, you got $1 million baby. And I look at my mom, be like, what is he talking about? And she go, don't pay no attention to Richard. Go on about your business.
Right.
And so I think about little stuff like that back in the day growing up. And $1 million baby. And then he moved to New Orleans when I first signed with the Breakers. And he was the first one to show up. Really? He was hollering in the crowd. I could hear him hollering in the crowd. I told you.
Marcus, when National Signing Day approached from your high school, we'll get into your college after this question. When National Signing Day came, and now it's like I said, God, I wish we had the things that we got.
The fanfare.
Yeah, the fanfare, the camaraderie. But were there other? Give me the colleges that you was really
the top 6.
Give me the top.
I was recruited by everybody.
Yeah, give me the top 6. I'm gonna see.
It was so bad. It was so bad at my grandmother's house. She would just start putting those big old. I would have so many letters come in every day. She just started stacking them in those big containers.
Right.
After recruiting, I had about 20 containers of those big plastic containers of nothing but letters. And so it was UCLA, Southern Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas.
That's what your top 5?
Yeah.
Why were those your top 5?
Well, I was looking at UCLA because my uncle, which I don't know, you guys heard of Golden Bird Chicken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my grandmother's nephew.
Okay.
So he had brought me. Well, Coach Donahue found out that he was my kin to me, and then he had another guy named Marty Gamlin, who was Glenn Campbell's publishing manager. And so he was from Philadelphia. And so I'm gonna back up. Marty called because Marty would always come home and visit, work out at the gym, blah, blah, blah. We knew Marty lived in Hollywood. And so we was infatuated with the Dukes of Hazzard, blah, 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 blah.
Wait a minute, the Duke of Hazards?
Yeah.
The Duke of Hazards?
The Hulk was big back then.
Yeah.
Luger,
That's funny.
I can name them all. And we had a chance to meet the Jackson and all that. So when Marty came home for the summer to check on his parents, we like, Marty, me, Charles, and Michael, like, we come to visit you in Hollywood. So Marty said, yeah, come on. So we set up our little summer job money. We go out there and stay for 2 weeks. He put us in a big house in Beverly Hills. I mean, we were down, and it's about the same time that Charles Manson was killing these people, right?
Whoa.
So we country boys. A house way bigger than we ever even imagined. I mean, we staying in Beverly Hills looking over LA. And so we get ready to go to sleep the first night. We all had jump in our own room. And so Charles goes, hey, Mark, did you sleep? I said, nah. I said, Mike, you sleep? He said, nah. So next thing I know, we all pulling the mattresses off the bed and go in the big living room. So we were scared of Charles Manson because he had just killed somebody down the doggone street. So we like, if he come in, we go, look.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So these stories like this go on and on and on and on, but we got a great experience out there with Marty Gamlin. And like I said, my uncle owned I call him my uncle, he owned Goldenberg Chicken. So I got a chance to meet Mira Bradley. He gave me the key to the city, and it was just great, man. But UCLA, and then, at Southern Miss at home, and they were winning, but it still wasn't what I wanted. Bama, coach. Now, I did like Bama because of the tradition and the national championship, but Bear Bryant brought me into his office. He sit me down and said, Marcus, if you come into Bama because I'm going to be here, I'm not going to be here much longer. He died 2 years after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then I committed to Texas. And but it was just a little different. I had Earl Campbell come pick me up and bring me out to Texas, and had a great time. And they was showing off, you got the girls running around and all that. So I got infatuated with that, and I committed. I said, I'm going to Texas. So I get home, and another thing, the coach took me into the boots. He said, what you want for you last? I need me some snakeskin boots. And so they get everybody out of the store. So statute of limitations over, so I can tell the story now. But so they bring me this big old boot place, big warehouse place. And nobody in the store but the guy who owns the store. And he said, well, go pick out some boots, pick the boots out, hit the boots. I get home off the plane, they fly me in on a jet. I get home off the plane, time I set my bag down, my mom goes, where are them damn boots? I'm shocked. I'm like, how'd you know? She said, don't worry about how I know. You need to get rid of them boots so you won't be able to play ball and blah, blah, blah. She said, you need to go to Oklahoma and just visit. Take a look before you make a decision. So she got on the phone and called Fred Egg and said, look, he decommitting. Once he finalized all his trips, go see the schools, then he'll make a decision. And then I went up to Oklahoma. I really enjoyed it. First of all, I already liked Oklahoma because they had a black quarterback. And so they ran the wishbone, and it just felt right when I went there.
Who was the black quarterback? Was it
First they had Thomas Lott.
Okay.
Then they had Darryl Shepard.
Okay.
Then they had Danny Bradley.
Okay.
Then it was Jamel Holloway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Troy Aikman was there when I was there. He transferred.
He transferred to UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that. Now, let's go back a second. I'm about to go there. How in the hell did your mom find out about some boots? Did you ever figure that out?
My mom is dead and gone right now, and I still don't know.
Where the boots at? Are they back there in the back?
They still at my mom's house right now.
You ain't never wore the boots because he wanted to make sure he could play. That is funny.
So you commit to Oklahoma. Now you're a starter. Did you start your freshman year?
Well, let's just back up. So I go out there, and Coach Switzer didn't believe how fast I was, right? And so we have a scrimmage. I rush for now, mind you, we got the number 1 defense in the country. It's 9 guys in front of me, that running back. So we go out and play, have the scrimmage, and all the seniors are talking and juniors are talking. We're gonna find out what this big All-American is all about today. So I said, we're gonna find out. I'm telling myself, we're gonna find out. Because I know if I can run against that run behind that little line I had in high school, these big old jokers in front of me, it's gonna be a cakewalk. And so so we go out there, and for the scrimmage is over, I had 9 carries, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Whoa.
Coach said, he didn't do good enough. He missed the block. Oh, he was making freaking excuses. I'm like, what is wrong? Even the reporter's like, what is wrong with this dude? We just seen the best play ever run against the number 1 defense. Now, they were like 1 or 2 defense in the country.
Right.
And I shredded them like it wasn't nothing.
And you still didn't get the props.
Right. He would give,
he
don't
had
get
to
me
keep
wrong.
the team together now. He had to keep the team together. That would have deflated the team.
I guess. But I come there to play. I ain't come here to sit on the bench. He's talking about moving me to tight end. No, he didn't move me to tight end. So,
look, he's going what?
I come there to play number 1, and I just didn't understand it. I've been taught and I've been reared up to know if you do wrong, take the criticism. If you do right, it's all good. Right. And that's what I'm used to. Right. Don't criticize me when I'm not doing nothing wrong. I ain't got no. If I'm doing something wrong, I ain't got no problem. I'll stand up and be, hey, I was wrong, but I wasn't doing nothing wrong, and I couldn't. That was like a 17-year-old. That was like messing with my mind. Why is this dude talking to me like that? Why is he making all these excuses about I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that?
Talking about criticism, let's back up a notch. Wait a minute, let's take time out for a commercial. Please make sure you rate,
like,
and
comment,
follow.
And share.
We got the great Marcus Dupree on the show, and I'm totally excited. I got all kinds of questions. He's here to tell us the real 30 for 30, not with the ESPN. This is the Andre and Yolanda 30 for 30. So let's back up a minute here. You're highly recruited, and you said something that your mom said about the taking criticism and getting the praise. Was there criticism? Because let's get real. When I got my scholarship, I had a lot of scholarships too. I went with the best opportunity that, because I remember I got an offer to go to Troy State, Vanderbilt, and I was really looking at Hawaii, and I was like thrilled. I'm like, but my coach said, what are you going to do way over in Hawaii? And I got to thinking about that. He said, he set me down. He said, you need to go to a school that's going to offer you a 4-year scholarship or a 2-year scholarship, and be able to transition. So my scholarship was track, and then I was able to still play football. But with that said, I stayed home. Did you get any feedback? Here's the great Marcus Dupree, All-American. There had to be some people that says, why in the fuck don't he stay and go to school here?
In Mississippi?
Yeah.
Well, me and my mom sit down and we weighed out the options of the final 6 schools and what did I wanted out of going to college. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is get a degree. Number 2 is play on national TV every week. Oklahoma was, we didn't have that. We didn't even have ESPN back then, I don't think yet. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah. Yes, it was. And so I wanted to play on TV. I wanted to be able to see the nation see me play. And Oklahoma gave me the opportunity. Then if I get a chance to people see me play, then the Heisman Trophy would come. And I wanted to win it. Main thing, I wanted to win a national championship. And I thought Oklahoma would give me the opportunity to win it.
Did the Heisman even cross your mind?
It didn't. The Heisman didn't even cross my mind. They were bringing up the Heisman. I wasn't caring about no Heisman. I want to win a national championship. I want to play with guys like Buster Rhymes and Danny Bradley, Steve Sewell. We had Bosworth was on that team. We had some studs on that team.
What was your relationship like with Bosworth? When you think, and this is let me be perfectly frank here, perfectly frank. We know Oklahoma's football team has produced some leading figures off of their football team. Jamel Holloway wound up being a congressman
No, that's not Jamel. I can't call. I see his name.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Congressman. He was a quarterback, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You got Brian Bosworth. Went to Hollywood and all over the place, and naturally you got you. What was your relationship like with Bosworth, and is there a relationship currently?
Yes, currently we talk now. I go to all the games, just about all the games. I'm friends with a guy named Wallace Marsh. He has about 100 oil wells, and so he has a house right on campus, and we all meet right there to eat and barbecue or whatever, and walk right over across the street to the stadium. So Boz, all the guys that I came in with, they all come over there just about, and we all hang out before a game.
What's one of the most memorable moments that you had playing with these guys?
Ooh, it could be a lot. Because
because he's a storyteller. Yeah, he's a storyteller.
We have an array of characters who's on that team now. Just think about this, Beast. We got guys from Southside Chicago. We got guys from Compton. We got guys from Brandon, California. We got guys from Dade County, Florida.
Yeah.
Now you put that mix together. I'm not gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna spill the beans and all that. You put that mixture of gumbo together and tell me what you got.
A mixture of trouble.
I say spicy. It's spicy. That's interesting.
But they might have been, a little troublemakers, blah blah blah. But one thing for sure,
they showed up. They showed up to play. Yeah. What was your relationship like? I think it goes back to what Yolanda said when you didn't really realize how good you were, and then Yolanda said something about, well, maybe he didn't want to give you the accolades that you needed for deflation of such a powerful team that's there. Bosworth and all you guys, that's a lot of ego. Compton, South Central, and he left out Indiana. We got some ballers here too, all rolled up into one. Do you think what was your relationship like with Barry? And do you think, looking back now that you're a lot older, do you think that he was fair? Do you think that
he was trying to keep you grounded?
Yeah. What's your interpretation from your words? Not a 30 for 30, not a misprint of a newspaper. What was your view of him then, and what's your view of him now?
Well, first of all, view of him now, we talk once a month. I go to his house when I'm in Norman. On the 30 for 30, he did admit that he was wrong on how he was treating me, blah blah blah. And so I got a great relationship. I can pick up the phone right now. As we're on the phone, he'll pick up that phone. He calls me in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock. He at the Heisman Trophy deal. He got, big boy, I'm around these people, blah, blah. What you got going? I'm like, Coach, I'm sleeping at 12 o'clock. What the hell you doing? At 12 o'clock at your age. Right. But no, it was just, I think, if he'd have came to me and said, after, I performed in the scrimmages against our defense, if he'd have came to me and said, look, I'm going to ride you, don't pay attention, just keep doing what you're doing, and just keep doing what you're doing. Don't pay attention to what I'm saying, because he did say that, like I said, I had 10 guys in front of me. They were, some are seniors, some are juniors, and I walk in the first day, and if you notice on the 30 for 30, the running back coach said he had so much talent that we didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I know what you can do with me. Give me the doggone, which they finally did.
Yeah. But that goes back, though, to that is how. It's about the how. Now, that was the how. Because he could have said something to let you know I'm not diminishing or minimizing the talent here, but we need to really reel this in so that it can be a team. Because at the end of the day, there's no success in silos. We know that. You know what I mean? Exactly. It takes people, but it's about that how. And you're young.
I don't have an ego today. I can care less about ego. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can't take an ego to the bank, pay bills, or get some money.
Okay.
So I'm the same way as I was in high school, the same way I am now. I mean, I didn't care about that. If he just communicated to me that,
yes,
it would have been all good.
Yeah.
I would run through the wall for him right now because I know what kind of guy he is. I know what kind of. I don't know what was going on in that era at that time, because everybody loved him. I mean, that's the reason I went to the University of Oklahoma.
So did it create tension between you guys, or how did that sort of manifest itself?
I kind of felt like it did. I mean, it did to me because I was asking Coach Selby, like, Coach, what is going on? He used to talk to me at the practice. He said, no, I don't know, Mark. He said, just keep doing what you're doing. I go talk to Galen Hall. He bring me in the office. I'm like, Coach, what's going on with Coach Wilson? He's like, don't worry about it, big boy. I'm going to keep, because he's the offensive coordinator, I'm going to keep giving you the ball. Okay, Coach, that's all I want to hear. I just didn't, me being a 17-year-old, I've been, if I did something wrong, I got my butt whooped. I'm not saying all that. And I knew if I did something wrong at Oklahoma, my mom would be in the car, my grandma, everybody, they'd caravan up there and get it straight with me if I did something wrong. I wasn't trying to do nothing wrong. That's why I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I had my grades. I got the Scarlet Athlete Award at Oklahoma. There it is right here.
Yeah.
I got my grades. I was a freshman All-American. I was best friends with Wayman Tisdale. That's went to church. It was, I just didn't understand. I didn't.
Yeah, that's a tough one because, at that age, your mind is still developing. And when you're told that if you do well, you get positive feedback, that's what you expect. And when it's different, that's a tough thing. That's why you never promise your kids something and then they do it and then you can't live through it. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I made that mistake. I told my son that he could get his ears pierced at 5 years old if he stopped sucking his thumb. He wanted his ears pierced, and I'm like, he ain't gonna stop sucking his thumb.
He stopped sucking it, didn't he?
He stopped sucking that thumb, and I had to pierce his ear because it felt like if I didn't, I would have been that person he trusted the most that would have sent that wrong message to him. But I learned to shut my mouth.
That's it.
You know what? That leads me into the next part of what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Andre The Beast Show with Yolanda Smith and special guest. I'm waiting on you to hit that part.
I'm sorry. Marcus Dupree. My bad. Okay, yes. Like, share if you're on. Yes, this is a good segment. I'm having so much fun. I'm just like, I feel like I'm an audience member. I'm not the co-host.
Oh, man, I forgot. And don't forget my producer, Jason, in the background. So send those comments in, and we're going to try to get to all of them. But back to the question at hand. You said something about 17 and trusting people. We saw the 30 for 30. You don't have to get too deep if you don't want to. Were there people in your life that you clearly looked up to and you trusted? Kind of like what Yolanda just said.
Yeah.
Take your time and just, clear the air, because I know firsthand we have that. Everybody's family and friends aren't perfect. Some are leechers. We got to be honest, they're leechers, and they will destroy you quicker. Let me use the phrase what somebody said: "Don't hire a family."
Right.
It can be tough. Yeah.
Has there been moments? Naturally, it has, because 30 for 30 said it. So tell me your story about that.
Well, I met a guy. We're not gonna call his name because he's bad about trying to sue people, but the preacher. We're gonna call him the preacher.
The guy that rode up in the Cadillac.
Right. So my mom being the person she is, my grandfather being the person he is. And then he being black, we were trying to, listen to him, and he's preaching pro-black and this, that, we need to support, black agents, blah, blah, blah. And then him being a preacher, we didn't know all the other stuff that he was doing. So, but he got a couple of players, me and Reggie Collier, Lewis Lips. We were some top name players. Reggie was the quarterback back then. Mm-hmm. And he was doing some shady stuff that they didn't tell it, but I was like, I can't tell it. I got to tell it. I can't hold it. I got to tell it. And he was doing a little shady stuff with the banks and little shady stuff on the deal. And he had our power of attorney. So he was just signing our life away. And at the end of the day, I know I'm the one that had the most money, so I'm the one got to pay all the bills. And that's what happened. A lot of people say, well, you should have been watching. It wasn't that. He was freaking doing deals that we thought were going to be taken care of, and we got to end up spending money because the feds came in.
Well, the tripped out part about it is just like you said, when people say, it's funny how people are quick to point the finger. Here's a person that's 17, 18 years old, and if I'm not mistaken, when you did get to the NFL, first $1 million contract. Do we really?
Hey, Beast, I'm the guy who started all these big contracts that freaking Mahomes them getting right now. My contract was the first big contract ever, and I was 19 years old.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, 19 years old, and people don't understand. Well, I wouldn't have made that decision. How in the hell are you going to tell somebody what decision you're going to make at 19, 18, 17 years old?
And again, you trust people. And you trust.
Yeah, you're trusting these people. And don't get me going. You know how, Marcus, we already talked about it. Don't get me going.
I just saw an episode of American Greed, and there was a woman, and I can't remember.
Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm
American
sorry.
what?
Greed.
I love that show.
Okay, there was a woman posing as an agent and took a lot of these players and took their money. I'm talking about Dennis Rodman and a lot. I mean, it was amazing. So there's definitely opportunists out here. It
definitely is, and that's what I'm trying to teach my grandsons. And I try to teach my boys that. I mean, you trying to trust a preacher. I just heard a song the other day by a guy named Vic Allen, "Forbidden Love Affair." You need to listen to it, Beast. You're gonna look. It's about this lady had a baby by the preacher. The preacher started looking at the baby. Everybody started looking at the baby. It's like, the baby sure look like the preacher. And it's called Forbidden. It's called a Forbidden Love Affair by Vic Allen. I want you to Google that. I want you to listen.
Lord, we're really going out there.
I ran to a lady had the same situation. I sent it to her the other day. She had a baby by the preacher. I said, I got a song just for you.
Here's your autobiography. Oh man!
When you look at your life, there's been a lot of good stuff going on. But do you sometimes think before you got to the NFL that because you were such a great player and because the prestige of a national championship, the Oklahoma Sooners, Barry Switzer, the Boz, do you feel like maybe because you were so good in the work that they put on you, I'm not going to say that it handicapped you in any way, but do you feel like
pressure,
the pressure to even became higher with the NFL?
Not really. I can only do so much what God gave me the talent to do. Everybody's like, was there any pressure on me to go choose these different schools? Once again, I'm just glad to get a scholarship so my mom don't have to pay for me. And that's what our goal was at the end of the day. Me and Michael and Tree, Alvin, we were trying to get a scholarship so our moms don't have to pay for us to go to school at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So anything after going to college was just gravy to me because I already don't grabbed on to something to help my mom that she don't have to worry about. She got to come out of her pocket to pay for me to go to school. So that everything else was great. So it wasn't no pressure. I was just, like I said, back to Coach Swift, I was just pissed because I was doing all I could do and I wasn't good enough. So you know what? I can go get paid to do what I'm doing.
We're going to close out with your college segment part of this, but take me down the most memorable moment of your college career. One play. We all got that highlight reel. You got tons. Jason, we got any highlight reels?
No, but I have that.
We're going to talk about that later. Take me down.
I can say this. I called my friends, Michael and Tree. Like I said, we call Tree Charles Tree. And they're at Ole Miss at the time. And so I like, look, I'm going to play today, and y'all better watch ESPN today. Okay. And so he can look up it's Kansas versus Oklahoma 1982.
Kansas versus Oklahoma.
Set up on YouTube. And I went for 5 touchdowns. The things that Derrick Henry is doing now, I did that to a guy against Kansas.
Oh, the stiff arm?
You got to pull it up, man. I'm telling you. So just tell them to look up Kansas versus Oklahoma 1982. And I did. I had 5 touchdowns, and I thought, that was the greatest time ever. Because I knew it was coming. I'm like, I'm gonna score every time I put my hand on the ball, because he got me sitting on the bench right now. So
We're gonna take a look. We're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna take a look at it real quick.
75 yards over the left side for an Oklahoma touchdown. Kevin Slayton along with Bud Wilkinson, and Bud, here's another look at it.
This is just brilliant team play, but given an extra shot by the marvelous speed that Dupree has. Great block by the flanker back coming across. Dupree finds daylight.
And he's
a big
gone.
Man, as we've mentioned, 230 pounds, and he can outrun the entire Kansas secondary. Looked like he might
that's
be
a
knocked
Derrick
out of
Henry
bounds,
move
but
right
he's so
there.
strong. He used the stiff arm, got rid of the Kansas defensive back, and moved it into the end zone.
That is crazy.
Often anymore in football, but look at right there. Beautiful stiff arm, and that was Madden coming across to try to make the tackle, but Dupree just stronger than Madden.
Sewell was the man who made the brilliant block, so there you see it. It took the Sooners 11 seconds.
So with that play, that's definitely a Derrick Henry play. The guy that you stiffed arm, did he come up to you after the game?
No, but it's another play.
You did it to him again?
No. This is against Missouri. Tell me to pull up the Missouri versus Oklahoma 1982. I had a 75-yard run. What it was, the guy was the Big 8 conference champion, 200-meter champion. So I broke through the line, ran over one dude, boom, and I looked around, I looked this way, and I just took out. So the guy who was chasing me was running so hard, he fell on his face. So the reporter, all right, watch.
Bam!
So after the game, the reporters come up to him and said, "Man, why are you so mad? You look like you mad, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Do y'all know I'm the 200-meter champion? And I couldn't catch that big ML? And he just ran past me like I was standing still." So, you've been a track guy,
Yeah.
A guy run past you at 230 pounds and you can't catch it.
That's a problem.
But let's just make clear it wasn't just a stiff arm. It was said to be a beautiful stiff arm.
And immaculate speed on top of that. So, Marcus, let's go into your NFL transition. Let's take another moment. This is the Andre The Beast Show with Yolanda Smith. Please like,
comment, and share.
And subscribe.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Jason. And subscribe.
Okay.
And subscribe. Yeah, that's important.
We have on the show the one, the only, the true 30 for 30, Marcus Dupree. Marcus, you get drafted into the NFL. Give me a little bit about that draft process and your transition to the NFL.
So let's back up. I got drafted into the USFL.
That's right.
But the Rams had my rights, and they still drafted me even though I was in the USFL.
Okay, so tell me what about that.
So I went to New Orleans. They had a big fanfare. Matter of fact, I was supposed to play on Donald Trump's team, the New Jersey Generals, with me and Herschel Walker in the same backfield.
Okay.
Mm.
So the league was like, "Nah, that's a disadvantage." So the breaker said, "We'll take him in New Orleans," and that's how I ended up in New Orleans. And so it was great, man. It was nothing like it. We had I've been in the NFL, I've been in the USFL. It was the same exact thing. It was no different.
Man, that would have been crazy. You playing with you and Herschel Walker in the same backfield?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Georgia would recruit me because I did I went to an Ole Miss game. So I did both my recruiting trips on that day. I went in the Georgia locker room, I went in the Ole Miss locker room, and Georgia would recruit me trying to get me to Georgia too. So it could have been a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
My goodness.
So you get
a couple of comments coming in. They were watching that play. Christy King says, "Awesome play. Wow." Janet Moreland says, "Oh man, look at that boy run." Christy King says, "That was insane."
When you went to the NFL, what was some of the things that you remember about it? It was the disappointments and the highs of the transition.
The only disappointment was when I went to the Rams that I was surprised that our locker room and in college, in high school, was better than what
just the details.
But otherwise, I love Coach Robinson. Coach Corey coached me. He was the head coach for me when I was in the USFL in New Orleans. He just passed a couple of months ago. Great guy. He coached with Dick Vermeil, same type of guys. John Robinson is an awesome guy. And I had a great time with the Rams. Got a chance to meet a lot of people. And it's so ironic. I tell people all the time, it was 4 or 5 guys from Mississippi on the same team, and all of them were 30 minutes away. If you went from Philadelphia to Durant, or Philadelphia to Carthage, or Philadelphia to Meridian, all us played on that one team from Mississippi.
Man, that's crazy.
I thought that was ironic.
When you went to the USFL, I remember that it was a brand new structured team that really didn't wasn't managed correctly. I guess that's what I can say.
Well, you want to know who messed it up?
We know who messed it up. You know who messed it up? No. Wait, ask her. Who messed it up?
Who messed up what?
The USFL.
I don't know.
You'll get it right on your first try.
Say one choice. Say one guess. One guess.
I'm not taking it.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump messed it up.
Y'all know I can't say his name.
Well, I can say it because I know he cost a lot of people jobs, a lot of opportunity, and I tell people all the time, Donald Trump is who he is. He got mad, and he's always got something to say against the NFL because the NFL owners would not let him own a team in the NFL. So that's when he became president. That's why he always got something to say about the NFL. A lot of people don't know that. And so in the USFL, he wanted to sue the NFL, which the guy that was over the league on the Tampa Bay Bandits. He ended up getting brain cancer, and then he wanted to keep the league in the spring. If he kept the league in the spring, that league would still be going on right now because we had ESPN, we had ABC, we averaged 40 and 50,000 people at each game. We had everything. We didn't need to go against the NFL because of his freaking ego.
Compete.
He had to go talk some owners in it. Let's put one team together and we go sue the NFL. We get this team in the league. And we won the court, but you know how much we won? $1. Who can live off $1? You can't buy water for $1 now. What?
Amazing.
How much money? How much money do you think you probably lost with that transaction going to the USFL and all that mismanagement? How much revenue do you think you actually lost?
It's gonna be a minute.
You need another hand. You need another hand.
Why you doing that? Just like and share. He's still counting.
Take those boots off.
To be honest with you, I can say if everything would have went right, I'll probably have $50 million in the bank right now. Legit.
So that impacted a whole lot of NFL players. I remember the transition. A lot of big name people went to that organization with the dream and the thought of a new organization that one man completely dismembered for
ego.
I mean, he caused a lot of people jobs. You think about all the people that work at the stadium, all the people that work in the concession stand, the players' wives. I mean, he cost a lot of people a lot of money.
All his life.
Yeah, I'm just being 100. It ain't no. You got the Trumpsters out there talking all that crap. This is the truth. I lived it. So you can't say I'm lying. I lived it. I saw it. And people that know, they know too.
Yeah.
Was it easier for you to get back into the NFL because of your ability and your title and the fact that you was a first-round draft choice, even though the collapse of the USFL? Was it hard? Was you frowned upon returning back into the NFL?
I was not. I picked up the phone. I'll tell you how the story went. I was down in New Orleans. The time the guy that was my agent at that time was Bud Holmes. He's also Walter Payton's agent, but Hanford Dixon's agent at the time. So he took me. He said, "Come on, let's go to a game." So I go down. He also represented the Saints. So I went to a game with him. He had a suite, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know I can." I said, "But I know I can still play this game." I said, "The doctor told me not to play, but I know I can play." And so I said, "I'm gonna go back home and start working out." So I built my own weight room. Like all these kids now, we gotta have somebody to motivate us and train us, blah, blah, blah. I built my own weight room, started working out on May 1st, went to the park 2 times a day and ran in the middle of the freaking heat. Then in my weight room, I had heaters on both ends of the corners. And I got up to 100, 130 degrees out in there. I said, I'm just going to bust my butt. I asked God, I'm going to back up. I asked God, give me the strength for 3 months of my life to be in the best shape ever. And I'll do it and do whatever I got to do to try to make the NFL team. And that's what I did. He blessed me to be able to go through those 3 months. But, I started out with guys supposed to be working out with me, But when it got to that heat in that weight room, I shit that dope, it was over. I was in there by myself.
They dropping like flies.
The only person stuck with me was my grandmama sitting outside the doggone weight room until I come out. When I come out from working out, she go back in her house, and I go to the track and run. That's what happened.
Were there moments, and that's the transition back to the NFL, and you had to go back into the gym, and I've done that, asking for that extra, when you feel like what just happened, and you ask for that moment. Did you, after you went back, did the thought of maybe I need to do something else, I'm burnt out, ever set in?
Nope, that never set in. I didn't go back to try to make the money. I went back for the dream that I saw when I was a kid, the dream that me and my homeboys talked about, the dream that Mr. Alvell Henson told me as a 8-year-old playing out there on that football field. He walked up to me as an 8-year-old and said, "I'm going to see you playing on Sunday." You think about the guy, Richard, who said, "Miss Seller, you got $1 million baby." So that's the reason I went back. The people that was around me, the people who told me that I was going to make it, the people that gave me the support, my mom, my grandma, she was stern. I mean, those days, I think about those days, she used to wash my uniform, make sure all my stuff was clean, make sure I got to school on time, make sure those people like that, people don't, people don't know the I guess the drive and the people who come in your life that's there for you when everybody else is asleep or everybody else doing other things. You got your grandmama, your mom, your granddaddy. They taking their time out of their life to make sure that your life is going to be perfect or try to be perfect. So I think about that. And I cry sometimes about that. They going on, but I got to carry that on with my grandkids.
Yep.
You talked about your friends. How many of your friends that you're still close to actually played in the NFL with you, alongside you? Because that was the dream that you guys had.
Well, they didn't. Charles and didn't make it, but they did make it to college.
Okay.
But then Charles we call him Treat, but his brother ended up playing for the Saints 15 years, and we were all in New Orleans. So I still talk to the friends I played with the Rams. I mean, I see them now. They, like I say, a lot of them are just around in this area. And but my personal friends, they didn't make it to. Well, Alvin went to the Cowboys for a while, but that's about it. But we still talk. It ain't changed. We still talk crap, jank, whatever.
Them your boys.
When you watch the 30 for 30. I hate when they try to portray people like a mortar, like, oh my God, he should have made better decisions with his money. He should have did this. He should have did that. When all of that stuff surfaced, what went through your mind? How did, like what happened? Take me down that moment.
So when I started getting letters from the feds, so I took it to my mom, like, what is this craziness going on? And so she picked up the phone. She immediately called Kenny. And she was like, dude, what is going on with, Lawrence is getting lawsuits and the feds talking about you got to show up for court, blah, blah, blah. And so, my mom being a strong black woman that she is, she's like, we're going to go handle this. And so ain't nothing, that's all we can do. It is what it is, pay the money, and you can always make more money. As long as you're healthy, you just go back and just try to make more money. That's it.
Did the guy that, we can't mention his name naturally,
the preacher,
did he ever make amends with you on the pain and the suffering that he caused upon you, your name, and your family?
Did he go to jail?
He did.
He didn't go to jail?
Yeah, he just went to jail.
Oh, he did?
He did. He just got out. He just got out of prison.
Oh, okay.
Not on my account, but because he was trying to fraud the government on some housing or something like that and got caught up.
Has he ever made amends to you and say,
what? I can tell you this. The feds did call. I'm going to tell you this story. Here we go. So I'm at home.
We are spilling the beans.
Malcolm Taylor called me and said, man, the police looking for you. I said, what? I go, what? He go,
This is a
The
classic.
team want to talk to you about the FBI. Want to talk to you. I like, oh no. I said, okay. So I called the police chief. I said, man, what in the world is going on? What you need with me? He goes, the feds want to talk to you about something happened in Harrisburg. I'm like, what? So give him the number. So I call the dude up, and I can't call his name, but I go, man, what is this about? He said some stuff that went on in Harrisburg, blah, blah, blah. I said, hold up. I said, somebody done got me in trouble. I'm finna go to Harrisburg right now, and y'all gonna have to get me because I'm about to go down here and shoot him in his head. And so they go, no, Marcus, no, none of that. He said, the U.S. Attorney General wants you to come sit right on the front row because we're about to sentence him, and he wants you there.
Oh,
and I said,
okay.
I'm there. So that's all it was.
Okay.
So I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Because they knew he did you wrong, but they couldn't get him on that.
Right.
But they knew, they just couldn't prove it. You know, from a legal standpoint, but wanted you there so you could see him when he got sentenced to know
and
that.
when he saw me walk in that courtroom, his eyes got that big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder how you can sit there and do that to somebody that
and call yourself a man of God. That's the other piece. But you reap what you sow.
It's a story to tell. Now that would be a 30 for 30 in itself.
Yeah,
that would be a 30 for 30.
That's incredible.
That's my next.
He sued. Now he agreed to be on the show, and then turn around and try to sue him.
For what? Because of what he done?
The defamation of what you call
defamation of character. For the truth. Yeah, for the truth. That's what that is. Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please follow,
comment.
What else, Jason?
Share.
Couple comments and questions coming in on Facebook. Tracy Lynn says, Mr. Dupree is an inspiration to so many young men wanting to follow in his footsteps to be the best in their football career. Thank you, Mr. Dupree, for your loyalty to the young men as a true mentor in their dream to be successful in their career as a professional football player, always a leader and a great success. And then May Pop Robinson asks,
May Pop.
She says, ask Marcus about R&B singer Keith Sweat. What's that story?
Now we get into the good stuff.
I used to be a promoter, and so May Pop, his name is Marvin. You know what? I've been knowing May Pop for 35 years. I just found out a couple of months ago his real name is Marvin Robinson. And
I apologize for saying she. It's Marvin.
So I used to promote Keith Sweat when he first came out, Make It Last Forever. And
that's the jam.
The very first album he had.
Well, I know Make It Last Forever.
Yeah.
Don't let her love.
All right.
Karaoke on this episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.
How exciting.
So what was that again, Marcus, with the Keith Sweat thing?
I used to promote Keith Sweat when he first came out with the Make It Last album.
Is he from?
We did a concert at Southern Miss, and that's when I first met May Pop, and we hung out after that, and we've been friends ever since.
Okay, shouts out to him. Thanks for listening and watching the show. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit, we should have addressed this earlier. Tell me about your brother.
Rich.
Yeah. Tell me about your boy.
Well, he was born with cerebral palsy, and I remember one day, me and my friends were out in the yard playing. We're like, why Reggie can't? And I was a little boy. I'm like, why Reggie can't come out and play with us? And he's like, well, my mom just said right now he has a problem, he can't walk. And that's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember going to Jackson to the children's clinic, every so often, and Reggie wouldn't come back home with us because he had surgery and he had to stay there for rehab and all that. And so I made up my mind then that I got to play for me, my brother, my mom, just my whole family, but mainly my brother because he couldn't do the same things I could do, and he loved the game, but he couldn't go out there and do it. And so that was my motivation from that day on forward. And it still is. I want him to come stay with me. He's married, he lives in Birmingham. And I'm always calling, Reggie, why don't you move back to Mississippi? Everybody miss you, your classmates. And one of my teammates was like, is Reggie dead? Where is Reggie? I'm like,
Reggie is not dead.
Reggie living his
I'm
life.
always asking, Reggie, why don't you come move home? Let's just, be around, so you can see your grandnephews play ball, blah, blah, blah. So I can't never get him out of Birmingham, but I think he's thinking about it.
You're a running back, and I'm gonna just be straight up. Me and you talked about this the other day. What pisses me off is you can name the 10 greatest running backs, and I'm gonna just say it like it is. I think it's a fucking travesty. I think it's heartbreaking that his name is never mentioned in the top 10. I think it's my show. I can say that. I think it's fucked up. Seriously, I think it's fucked up. You put, as a young man, you put a college on your back. You put a USFL team.
Didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, and I go. Let me retract that for a second. I'm gonna ask you the question. Watch where I go with this.
Okay, I'm on it.
You're listening to the Andre The Beast Show.
Getting tense in here.
Now check this out.
Subscribe.
I'm gonna flip the script for a minute. Show you exactly where I'm going with this. Marcus, give me your best 5 running backs.
I would say Herschel Walker, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown. I'm going to say Emmitt Smith, but Emmitt Smith had a great offensive line. If Barry Sanders would have the same offensive line that Emmitt Smith had, the records would never be broke.
Right. And then you got one more.
Earl Campbell. I got Earl Campbell's jersey sitting right there. He's one of I can consider him because we talked, and he was my hero.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to run like Earl Campbell, had the speed of Eric Dickerson or even the Kansas Comet. I can't call his name right now.
Oh, but, I know what you're talking about. Is it Ernie Davis?
Not Ernie Davis. The Kansas Comet played in Chicago. Brian song.
I know what you're talking about. Google it.
Oh, Brian Tom. Yeah.
I can't call. He just died.
Yes, he did.
Too.
Gary.
We got a boy working
Brian
on
Piccolo.
Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, the Brian Piccolo story. But the black guy played in the Kansas Comet.
Gail Sayers?
There you go.
Gail Sayers, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I want to be like Gail Sayers, Earl Campbell, and Walter Payton all roll into one.
Out of the guys that are currently, now watch me. Watch me. Watch me.
He's on some shiggity.
Out of those guys that are currently alive on that list, how many of them, these are people that you picked out, how many of them have reached out to you to say, you know what, you're on my list?
All of them.
All of them? Good.
All of them except Emmitt. And then when Coach Switzer was at the Cowboys, he told Emmitt, he called me on the phone. He said, I just told Emmitt Smith, you wearing that number 22? I know where another 22 is way better than you. So, hey.
If you, I mean, I'm sorry, it just really pisses me off because I'm like, you can't get better than you. I mean, I sit there and watch you, and it was like a guy running through defensive lines, outrunning cornerbacks, outrunning safeties, putting my team at the time, Oklahoma, on the map. Do you feel like Oklahoma, knowing that what you went through with the transition of boy to man, did their due diligence with you? I mean, I know you don't have any animosity to them, but do you think that they could have done something differently with you?
I think so. I think they probably could have done a lot of different things with a lot of other people.
Such as?
Especially with freshmen coming in, the lie was he's homesick. when I left school, I was already in my sophomore year. I wasn't freaking homesick. I got homesick the first couple of days, but as I got in just like any person that leaves home, any athlete, they're gonna be homesick the first couple of weeks or the first 2 or 3 months, and then you settle in. It's ready to go. I wasn't homesick. I was homesick from him talking that crap, and I wasn't doing that. So
Why do you think that crap was even taught? Because maybe he was under pressure from the fact that you guys are a high-powered school at that time.
Well, I'm gonna say the word on the street was I saved his job.
I already heard that word. So yeah.
That's all I know. But I was just there, like I say, once again, I'm just there to win. I wanted to play with other guys that got talent and had that experience, that college experience of playing with guys like Brian Bosworth, Steve Sewell, and Danny Bradley, people like that. That's why I went to the University of Oklahoma, because that's the people I wanted to play with. That was going to boost my talent, going to challenge me and make my talent better. And it did, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It just goes back to show you. I mean, there's a lesson in everything. I think you done figured out now. I keep pulling them out, right? But when you think about it, the truth of the matter is life ain't fair.
Yeah.
And what we expect of somebody, and how we would act in certain situations is not necessarily reciprocated. And that's just the reality of it. Then the question becomes, how do you make the best out of it, right?
Exactly. And that's what we try. And then I look back and I listen to reporters now, and I listen to a bunch of people, radio talk shows, and they're talking about people, they talk, well, so-and-so should have did this, blah, blah, should have did this. Guys, remember, these are 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids still.
Yeah.
And I say that NCAA is the biggest pimps in the world, and I say that right now on TV. I mean, a kid can't go get a job while he's playing college football. Right. That is freaking crazy. So, you go back and you look at it, and it's just so much wrong in college football right now.
If you had to, based on your experience, based on decisions, the people in your life, and we all done this. I did it even last night. Because I had my birthday and stuff, and people always say, "Wow, this is the most stupid thing people ask you. Do you feel any different?"
How do you feel now?
Like, what the fuck you mean? I mean,
what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, like, okay, I'm not in the box, but I asked myself the question, what would I have done different? And then I put what?
The only thing I would do different, I would have stayed at the University of Oklahoma, because I went there to win a national championship. That's the only thing I would. I mean, that's what I would do. I wanted to win a national. I don't care about the Heisman. I wanted to win a national. We could have won 2 national championships there.
I know. Yeah. I was rooting for you guys. I know. Yeah.
So that's. I mean, everybody like, you should have stayed in the state. No. The state of Mississippi, the teams that can give me the opportunity that I wanted. I wanted my goals were to play on national TV every weekend, and we did. My goals was to win games because I like winning. We won. I wanted to win a national championship. You can talk all that crap about Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and whatever. They was not going to win a national championship when I came out. That's just 100.
Yeah.
And you can sit here and say, "Oh, we had an opportunity." No. Every year, even to this day, Oklahoma is in the hunt. They may not stay in the hunt, but they always there at the door knocking. And it's like that right now. And then, let me back up.
Okay.
Back up. I forgot. And I tell kids now when I talk to them, I said, you can pick certain schools, but when the crowd stop cheering, what can that school do for you after that?
There you go.
Can you go back to that school and talk to them same people that cheered in the stands and, "Oh, you the greatest ever"? What can you do when the crowd, and when it gets quiet and you're sitting there by yourself and you don't know what you're going to do? Then we got a program called Sooners Helping Sooners. But even after that, the people in Oklahoma, they love the Sooners. And they're going to do whatever they can. If you're straight and with them, they gonna help you at the end of the day. Because most of everybody's in the oil business are from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. The Sooner Nation is everywhere. That's
The
all I can say.
resources
It's
are
after
there.
you get through playing, that's what matters, and that's why you go to a place like the University of Oklahoma.
Speaking of that, let's say you said Oklahoma now has the programs in place of Sooners helping Sooners and blah, 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 blah. Did you, through the transition before the NFL and before college, was there any what's the word I want to use, the right word?
I'm not sure what you're trying to
Translator.
Did you feel the sting of any racial stuff going in through your transitions that you, at 17 years old, that you had to cope with and go, how do I deal with this?
I did not.
Okay.
You know what? It's so strange you talk about that. I'm from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Martin Luther King said it was one of the worst places ever.
Right. That's why I'm asking the question.
Even in Philadelphia when I was growing up, I don't know if my mom just kept me from it or everybody just knew my mom, my grandparents, or whatever. I was not ever one time my whole life called a nigga in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Now, that might seem strange. That might be just because I played ball. I just know people in the town respected my grandparents. They respected my uncle. My uncle had every freaking key to the bank in Philadelphia. And every bank up there, he could go in there anytime he wanted to. He could have robbed everything. I don't know if that was just out of respect. I went to school with the guy who in the Mississippi burning, the sheriff. I was best friends with his son. He gave me my CDL license. He came to my game. I used to go to their house and eat. He was part of the Ku Klux Klan that killed those 3 civil rights workers. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't. And all the time I was coming up, I was grown before I even called that. So I did not. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm sure, and don't get me wrong, I ain't stupid now. I know it's there. And I know it's got some people that just hide it well and all that. But just coming up to me and doing that, nah.
Yeah.
Me, especially me and my friends.
Well,
we
you
could go
could bench press 450. I'm not, maybe,
Based on everything that we got going on last year, give me your views on how you see the world based on everything that you've been through and what we're dealing with now, the rebranding process of us as individuals. Like you said, we see our kids now at the touch of a button. The World Wide Web is on them. There's no more going outside. There's no more, hey, let's keep it going type. What's your take on what's going on today?
One thing, God ain't happy. For one, this world is just, everything is, he's just not happy what's going on. And some kind of way, and then you got Donald Trump in here and manipulating people and doing the same stuff he's always been doing.
Yep.
I know we got all these Trump supporters and blah, blah. I don't get into politics. I just call it 100 like I see it. If you can't see him manipulate nobody, then you blind. You want to be blind. So this past 2021 has been a terrible year that I hope we can just erase. I know we can't erase, but we're going to have to come together not only as a black and white, but as the human race. We got to come together. I mean, other countries are laughing at us. We supposed to be the upper echelon. And right now, we look like a third world country.
Yeah, it's something else. So I heard something about horses.
Yeah.
You have horses?
I have 6. I had 20, but that was too many miles.
They can't get an EDB card.
No. It might be a USDA something going on.
You need a
but I got 6 horses, and when I was living in Louisiana, I used to take the horses over to certain schools and city kids ain't never been around no horses.
Right.
They big and tough and they think they thugs, but you bring a horse around and you see them get real quiet, real quick. And we did a show that hadn't been aired yet. I'm trying to get it aired. It's called a Comeback Academy. And we had all these guys that were freshman All-Americans, and they got in trouble after their freshman year. So we brought them, 6 of them to New Orleans, and we put them through 30 days of training. It's like a reality show. It was a reality show. But all of them did whatever they needed to do for 30 days. When I tell you, we put them through some hard training. And at the end of the show, they got a contract to go play in the CFL. Whoever stuck it out, they got a contract. So all of them stuck it out and they got a contract. But you know what? At the end of the day, not one showed up for camp after they got the contract.
Wow. Not one. What do you think, what could you contribute that to? Just
for one, they didn't tell their parole officer they was leaving to come do a reality show.
Oh, man.
Hey, what can you do? I mean, but it's a great show. I have to send it to you, B.
Cops.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God. So, Marcus, you definitely had a beautiful, beautiful career, beautiful things that you've done. But you ventured into something else. So let's take the next segment. This is the Andre The Beast Show with Yolanda Smith. Please follow,
like, subscribe, and comment.
Speaking of comment, Janet Moreland says, every little boy has wanted to be like Marcus Dupree. Hopefully next time you do this live interview, you will have Janalen Dupree on here with his legend papa.
Got it. Well noted.
Part two.
Part two. Let's talk about the new Marcus Dupree business venture. You're now an entrepreneur with a new product. Why don't you tell me more about it?
Well, growing up, as you probably the same thing in Georgia, you get around marijuana, that ain't finna happen. You get around marijuana, you think you finna go to jail.
Right.
I just got running. I'm like, guys, I ain't fooling with that crap. My mama gonna kill me.
You got
gonna kill y'all. Y'all, you catch y'all. I'm marijuana. I'm afraid.
Right.
I'm going. So I'm in the marijuana business, wanted to get in it, and not just per se just to make money, but to try to help people, because my mom had cancer. And my disclaimer is, I'm not saying that it can heal everybody, but we had to pay $2,500 every time she had chemo. And that shot only lasted 24 hours to help her feel better after her chemo. So I want to get in it, not only to just help people, just to be on the cutting edge of something. And I'm learning stuff every day. In April, I'll be in it a year. So I'm still learning, and I'm still meeting people. I met a ton of people in Oklahoma that are growers, that process, and I just want to learn it and pass it on to my people here. We just got legalized in Mississippi, and I have a lot of people here in Mississippi who want to grow, and I'm going to help them and going to show them. So I'll be a part of the main company, and then I want to show other people what to do. Mississippi is a poor state, and we need the money. I mean, Oklahoma probably made last year close to maybe 600 million, maybe 500 million in sales, something like that. The first year was 300 million, so they already doubled that and just about already made that halfway through the year. So I'm sure it's going to be close to 600 million this year. And I just read they just donated $40 million to the school board to help teacher salaries. So little things like that. That's what I want to be a part of, and just trying to bring up Mississippi. We finally got the flag change, which I knew that was going to happen when the SEC commissioner said Mississippi State and Southern Miss, y'all can't play in the SEC unless you get rid of that flag. I knew then. That's the wrap. This flag going to change immediately.
Money changes things. Put money in the equation.
You got a lot of products with the Boomer Crush line. Can you explain some Kush line? Can you explain to the viewer some of the products and what they do and so forth?
Well, first of all, we got like 6 flavors in gummies. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
And it's something of the best. It helps you sleep, helps you with your pain. It tastes great, and I can't wait for people in Mississippi to try it. It is empty, so anybody in Mississippi, don't come knocking my door. We don't have any marijuana in Mississippi. First, it's coming. We got a pain cream, which everybody loves. It's half CBD, half THC, 300 milligrams, and it works. I promise you it works. I got some people that old running backs, they're using it. I can't call their name just yet, but they're using the pain cream, and all I can say it works. I use it, but it works. We got vape carts. We're working on pralines, more edibles. We just trying to do it all. Just mainly trying to grow and show other people what to do and how to do it.
That's big business. And you know what the thing is that when we really understand medicinally what it can do, I mean, I think that's going to be a huge game changer. I remember a woman just terrified because her kid had seizures, and this was the only thing that tend to calm that and sort of put the seizures at bay. My mom had cancer, and I guess I won't put it all out here, but we made sure she had some Kush to take care of.
I had a lady I went to high school with, and I was at the time I was in Oklahoma, and she called me up and she said, "Marcus, I got pancreatic cancer. My doctor said I need some marijuana," and I told him I know somebody who got some. And so I said, "Well,"
straight to the point.
I said, "I can't ship it. I can't ship it to you. You're going to have to come to Oklahoma, and I can introduce you to some people and be able to get you some." And so she hadn't tasted her food in 4 months. And so she comes up, she goes pick up my aunt. They all come up, and I take it to her lady that I know that had a dispensary and could make it, at least let her try it a little bit. And I left and went somewhere and came back, and in less than an hour and a half, whatever, she could taste her food.
Wow.
And she was just so thankful that happened. Yeah. And I was thankful that I could help her. And just, talking to people, like I said, people with having seizures, people just don't know how much this can help, everybody's body.
Yeah.
It ain't about everybody. Some people, old school people, think it's about getting high. Well, you got those people that's gonna get high. Nothing you can do about that.
That's right.
But you got people out here need it, and I was talking to a guy, senator, and he was talking about, I just found out Ole Miss been growing marijuana for 50 years. What are they doing with it?
Interesting.
But so the guy that
I'm not speculating. We're not gonna get sued.
Oh, we need to go.
You're doing don't tell nobody.
So I gotta ask that question. What do you do? The guy comes up to our facility in Oklahoma, and he goes, "Ole Miss plants don't look nothing like this. What are they doing at Ole Miss?" And I'm like,
Oh, who?
I like the way we talked about this in depth, and the operation that you guys have there, and I'm totally amazed, and I'm more amazed not to the fact that let's just get the word marijuana out of the equation in general. It's a business. It's no more than prohibition, and you found a way to put laws, statutes, and commandments to get liquor. This is something, and you can't stop people from drinking and driving or over intoxicated. So let's just keep it real. I've talked with you. I've seen your partners, your scientists, your manufacturers put together a operation that is doing something way more than anything. It's providing jobs in a community that doesn't have this. I commend you for that. I think that all states need to pull together and learn. And me and you talked about this because I'm straight open about it. If you're right. If you're gonna get high, you're gonna get fucking high. Yeah. I don't care what, as long as it's not affecting me and you. Now you become responsible for your actions.
Right.
But the bottom line is, this ain't about this. This is about taking a product, like you said, with your mom, God rest her soul, with the people that you deal with. This is already proven it's helping. But not only is it helping, you have taken a product and have put it in the right frame of mind, operational stance. Like when you was telling me you provided jobs for people just picking a STEM. I didn't know this. I'm being educated. If I don't know, educate me.
Yeah.
And that's, my partners, they're lawyers, Charles Wilkins and Clint Patterson, and now we're bringing on Marcy, which you spoke to, Marcy Prof. She's representing Rock Nation in the prison system, and we're just trying to put together good people and trying to make things work and trying to bring good economic to the state of Mississippi, because the state of Mississippi is poor. These people need jobs. Especially now with the corona going on. I mean, people need jobs. People need to work.
Yeah.
And then this could help. It could fund education. It's just so many things. If Mississippi had $500 million right now, that would change the whole face of Mississippi.
I think you need to a standing ovation, because the thing about it is ignorance is the inability not to learn. Yep. I'm not going to speak on a product and throw a product out the window if I don't know about it.
Right.
And believe me, I have people that come to me and say, hey, I want to do this on this. Okay, I'm not going to shoot you down. But what impressed me about Boomer Kush is the operation in general. How it's organized, the product, how it's supervised. I wish every state, before they say no, because this is what I just told somebody, you're going to have to address the topic sooner or later.
Sooner or later, it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to come.
Indiana's resisting.
You're going to have to do it because you did it with liquor. Do it here. But before you do it, find an operation that's already doing it. And what better person to endorse is doing it than Boomer Kush, because it's done. I've seen what you guys do there. You need to advocate and go to these other cities and say, look, this is the operation plan. This is how it's working. More importantly, it's providing jobs to a situation to where people lost their damn jobs.
Well, I think you got to do is you got to get the stigma of just being high out of the way. That's the problem. That's the problem. They're not looking at the economic impact. They're not looking at the medicinal impact and how it can truly help people in their lives. Because again, it's about quality of life. And that's the piece that we're missing. But I think over time it will come if we can continue to do studies and continue to keep operations such as Boomer Kush at the forefront.
And Gold Rush, it's more than just just me, but it's Gold Rush and Kind. And
absolutely.
We got a drink called Keith that's gonna blow Mississippi out the water. I'm looking forward to opening up in Mississippi. I just know what people needed. I'm always speaking on the Senate floor. We got all these athletes. At one point in time, Mississippi had more NFL players in the league than anybody else per capita. And so we got all this stuff. We got the Blues Trail. You can go to certain towns and you got these guys that was in the Blues. I said, we need an athletes trail. I got 60 guys. We got 60 guys live within 15, 20 minutes of me right here in Madison County. And we have one of the biggest NFL chapters. Why not try, not per se use them, but use their celebrity to bring more money to this state? Yes. We got Jim Henson. His name Jim Henson, the Muffet guy.
Yes, Henson. Mm-hmm.
Henson. He's from Mississippi. Why in the world we don't have a Muffet world? He's developed the Muffets. He's from Greenwood, Mississippi, Greenville. Why is not a Muffet world here? So stuff like that. You said we ain't got no money, but doggone it, you ain't trying. Do I need to run for governor? No.
Yeah, you do.
I think you do. Okay, that was an endorsement right here. Marcus Dupree for governor.
This is the Andre the Beast Show.
Just little things like that could make an impact on the state.
Yeah, it's
but
huge.
Like I said, we got that flag on now, so Amazon coming down the street right here now. So I know Ted Reed, what's his name? Tate Reeves got that call. We got to do something about that flag, but we can't play the SEC. Oh, no, this flag got to go.
Marcus, before we wrap up, I'm going to ask a two-part question. First of all, let me make sure that Yolanda doesn't have any other question that is puzzling her or whatever.
No, I'm good. This has actually been very delightful.
This is the Andre Beast Crayton Show with Yolanda. Please rate,
subscribe, like, and share.
Like, share.
And share. And
Even Marcus knows now.
We still got Jason behind the controls.
Still here.
We're getting ready to wrap up here. Thanks, viewers. Please stay with us just a little while longer because 2 more questions for Marcus. We've seen a lot of stuff that's going on. You've been through a lot. You persevered. You've overcome. You got a chance to tell the 30 for 30 on my show, the real 30 for 30.
There you go.
And I'm extremely blessed to have you on the show. But more importantly, it's to show people that people come into your life for a reason. It's your actions and your attitude that determines the outcome.
Ooh.
Right.
And perseverance, because I was determined to have you on my show. I said it can't be a podcast without Marcus.
Well, you know what, Beast?
What's that?
Andre, I speak. This is what I speak when I go speak to kids. I speak to a lot of people that have spoken all over the world, and I call my speech the patience in the process. Because
I like that.
Process, do you feel me? Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a process that you got to go through life. You know, you're going to go through some ups and downs. You're going to go through some lows and the valleys. It's all about how you, once again, we're going to go back to that old Steve Harvey. You look back there, everybody riding the wagon, partying, drinking. It's time to stop the wagon.
Yep.
Everybody get off. You ain't helping me push this wagon up this hill. And I got to find somebody else to do it.
That's
or
right.
just do it by yourself. But patience in the process, that's all it's all about. Patience in the process.
You know, that is, I'm speechless for the second time.
Today, and that's not like him, but at the end of the day, this has been a pleasure, a sheer pleasure. Yeah, I'm speechless too.
Thank you guys.
Nobody
Thank you guys for having me on. You can bring me on anytime. We need to, because I do want to do a show. Let's don't forget that.
Yeah.
So I want Justin to help my guy Jackson. We want to do a show called 4th and 20. We're gonna come on. We're gonna have our own little streaming channel. I'm gonna call it 4th and 22. I'm sorry, 4th and 22. Okay, 4th and
22. Yep, 22.
Yeah, 22. Yeah. So we want to learn from you.
Jason,
see what you do. We want to, we can come together, fellowship, break bread, whatever we got to do. I'm going to about to say smoke some boomer because I don't smoke.
little trade, little barter.
We can eat some gummies.
I'm going to drink water so I can just moderate.
Hey, we got water too. We got water.
In the water. It's in the
Sparkling water. We got sparkling water. We got, Keith got fruit punch. Since you work out, Beast, we got an energy drink now. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me.
We trying to work it. The Cold crew and Tan and Keith and Boomer Kush. We coming to Mississippi.
It's all about connection.
We might see us in Texas. We may come to Indiana.
Okay, come on.
To the Lieutenant Governor and the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
We're showing what it's all about.
That's definitely going to be a topic coming up soon, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, we'll have him in the studio.
So just bring me on, and maybe we can get the whole crew on.
At one time. Yep, there we go.
Ain't nothing like chewing the fat, talk about throw up on the wall, see what it fits.
There you go.
So, Marcus, how do the viewers get in contact with you if they want to talk to you or have you in or know more about Boomer Kush? Is this the correct information?
Pretty much so. We're going to redo the website, boomerkushnation.com, but you can hit us up on Facebook, Boomer Kush. Hit us up on Instagram, Boomer Kush. You know, I got a number on us, 918-221-7045. You can get me directly. I like talking to everybody.
See, you get ready to start something. Everybody going to be calling you.
Call me because I want you to tell somebody.
Boomer Kush.
Boomer Kush, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Before we go, though, we're going to work on cousins and everybody. I'm trying to get them in the game and so they can do it legally.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're in the dirty South, so we want to make sure that everybody
clean it up.
Do it legally.
Yep, clean it up.
You know what, Marcus? We're going to have you back on the show. Trust me.
This has been great.
Yeah, it's been great. This is our first live for the 2020.
2021.
Did I say 2020 or 2021?
2021.
I was drinking some Boomer Kush.
No, it's for medicinal purposes.
But we need to go on the Joe Rogan show. You know, me and you.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we need to go on there. We need to get on that show, and I think we're gonna be, we'll do a little something. I think we'll be able to rock it. Yeah.
That sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Marcus Dupree from 30 for 30, one of the greatest college running back that ever played the game. I'd like to thank my co-host, Miss Yolanda Smith.
Hey.
Hey, tune in, like, rate, review,
Subscribe.
Make sure you click on the Boomer Kush. Make sure you reach out to Mr. Marcus Dupree. This has been the Andre The Beast Show.
Good.